Dear friend, welcome to this sacred moment of prayer and divine intercession. Today we gather with faith and hope in our hearts, knowing that miracles are real and Saint Anthony is here to guide us. In times of doubt and despair, we often wonder if a breakthrough is possible. But I invite you to trust in this moment, because today, with Saint Anthony's powerful intercession, the impossible can become possible. As we join in prayer, remember that Saint Anthony is a faithful servant of God, known for his ability to bring miracles into the lives of those who call on him with true faith. Whatever it is you seek, whether it is healing, restoration, or a breakthrough, know that your prayer is being heard right now. Let your heart be open and let St. Anthony's miracles unfold in your life today. Stay with us through this prayer and experience the transformation that awaits. St. Anthony, today we come before you with hearts full of hope and faith, trusting in your powerful intercession. We are all facing challenges, some known only to us, others shared with the world. Many are struggling with illnesses that seem impossible to heal, financial burdens that seem insurmountable, and broken relationships that seem beyond repair. Yet we know that with your guidance and divine intervention, nothing is beyond the reach of God's grace. We ask, dear St. Anthony, that you intercede on our behalf. We come to you with our urgent needs, knowing that you have the power to bring relief and restoration. You have performed countless miracles throughout history, lifting souls from despair and bringing them to a place of hope. Today, we place our faith in you. We trust that you will take our prayers to the heart of God and make the impossible possible. There is no prayer too desperate, no request too great for your intercession. St. Anthony, we invite you into our lives today. We ask that you bring comfort to the suffering, guidance to the lost, and miracles to those who are seeking divine intervention. We trust in your miraculous power and believe that by your intercession, our lives will be touched with the grace of God. As you help us in this moment, we ask that you remind us of God's love and the miracles that await those who believe and trust in him. Primero Misterio, the lost things found. In moments of despair, it often feels as though the things we cherish are slipping away from us. Whether it's a possession, a relationship, or a sense of purpose, we find ourselves searching desperately for something that seems impossible to recover. Yet Saint Anthony, the patron saint of lost things, offers us the hope that nothing is ever truly lost. His intercession has led many souls back to what they thought was irretrievably gone. And today, we are invited to place our faith in him. Think for a moment about what you've lost. Maybe it's a loved one, a dream that feels unattainable, or perhaps a feeling of peace that once filled your heart. The pain of loss is universal, and Saint Anthony understands it intimately. He has spent his life bringing back what was lost, and his ability to help us find not only physical things but emotional and spiritual peace is a testament to his divine connection with God. We ask you, Saint Anthony, to help us find what has been lost in our lives, whether it's something material like a lost possession or something deeper like lost hope. We trust in your ability to bring these things back into our lives. You have shown time and again that no loss is too great to be restored. and we place our trust in your intercession. Imagine the things that weigh heavily on your heart, those things that you wish you could recover. Perhaps it's a relationship that has broken, or a sense of purpose that feels lost in the noise of life. Saint Anthony is here, standing with you, ready to guide you in finding what you need. Through his intercession, the lost things in your life are not gone forever. They are just waiting to be found. As you reflect on this mystery, think of the many times you felt that something precious has slipped through your fingers. Saint Anthony reminds us that no matter how deep the pain of loss may be, there is always hope for restoration. With his powerful prayers, what was once lost can be found again. Trust that this moment of prayer is the beginning of the recovery process, where lost things are restored. Saint Anthony, we come before you with open hearts and trusting spirits. We ask that you help us recover not only what we have lost, but also the peace and joy that comes with knowing that nothing is beyond God's reach. Through your intercession, we believe that we will find what was once thought to be gone forever. This mystery isn't just about recovering objects. It's about restoring the broken pieces of our lives. Perhaps it's not just a possession you seek, but peace, hope, or even faith. Trust in Saint Anthony's power to guide you back to a place of wholeness. What you thought was lost is still within reach, and with his help you will find it again. Saint Anthony has been known to perform miracles for those in need. When you feel as though you've searched every avenue with no result, turn to him. His prayers, infused with God's grace, help restore what's lost, both seen and unseen. Through him, you can find the courage to believe again, even when it seems like hope is fading. This first mystery encourages us to reflect on the things we have lost and trust that St. Anthony's intercession can bring them back into our lives. Whether it's something material, like a missing object, or something more personal, like a lost dream, St. Anthony is here to guide us to the answers we seek. We are reminded that through faith and prayer, even the most elusive of things can be restored. Saint Anthony, we ask you to intercede for us today. Help us recover what has been lost, whether it's an object, a person, or a sense of inner peace. We trust that with your help, the lost things will be found, and the peace that comes with it will be restored. May this prayer lead us to the moment where recovery begins, and we feel the grace of your intercession in our lives. As you continue to reflect on this mystery, take a moment to think about what's lost in your life and offer it up to Saint Anthony. Trust that his intercession will guide you, and that what is lost can indeed be found again. With faith, anything is possible. And today, Saint Anthony is here to help you find what you seek. Saint Anthony's miracles are not limited by time or circumstance. When we turn to him in prayer, with faith in our hearts, we open the door for divine intervention. The things we think are gone forever are merely waiting for the right moment of restoration. Through Saint Anthony's powerful prayers, lost things are found, and broken hearts are healed. Restoring broken relationships. In life, we all experience the heartache of broken relationships, whether with a loved one, a friend, or even someone from our own family. The pain of division can feel unbearable, and we may wonder if it's even possible to heal what has been torn apart. But Saint Anthony, through his powerful intercession, is the saint who can restore what seems irreparably broken. This second mystery calls us to reflect on the relationships that need healing and trust that Saint Anthony can bring them back together. Think for a moment about the people in your life with whom you've experienced division. Maybe it's a friend you haven't spoken to in years, or a family member with whom you've had a falling out. Perhaps you're struggling in your marriage or feeling disconnected from your children. Saint Anthony's intercession has brought peace and reconciliation to countless hearts, and today he is ready to do the same for you. Through his powerful prayers, broken relationships can be healed and restored. Saint Anthony, we ask you to intercede on our behalf and heal the divisions that exist in our lives. Whether the rift is with a friend, family member, or colleague, we trust in your ability to mend hearts and restore the bonds that have been strained. We place our relationships into your hands, knowing that through your intercession, reconciliation is possible. Help us to forgive those who have hurt us and to seek forgiveness from those we have wronged. As you reflect on this mystery, think about the relationships in your life that need healing. Perhaps it's a marriage that is hanging by a thread, or a sibling who no longer speaks to you. Whatever the situation, Saint Anthony is ready to help you heal the wounds of the past and bring peace where there is conflict. Through prayer and intercession, we believe that what once seemed impossible to restore can be made whole again. Saint Anthony, you are known for bringing peace where there is discord and love where there is bitterness. We come to you today, trusting that you can heal our hearts and our relationships. Help us to approach those with whom we are at odds with love, patience, and understanding. Through your guidance, may we be instruments of peace in a world that so desperately needs it. Reflect on the times when you felt that a relationship was beyond repair. It's easy to lose hope when things seem broken, but Saint Anthony reminds us that nothing is impossible with God. Even in the deepest of wounds, there is healing. Through Saint Anthony's powerful intercession, we can believe that restoration is possible. Trust that with his help, peace will be restored in the relationships that matter most. Saint Anthony, we ask you to intercede for us today. We pray for healing in our relationships, for peace where there is strife, and for love where there is hurt. Through your intercession, we believe that reconciliation is not only possible, it is a promise. Help us to approach each situation with a heart open to forgiveness and understanding, knowing that with God's help, all things are possible. As you continue in prayer, think about how you can contribute to the healing of your relationships. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you've been avoiding or forgiving someone who has wronged you. Saint Anthony's intercession will guide you in making the first step toward reconciliation. Trust that through your actions and prayers, broken relationships can be restored and peace can be found. Saint Anthony, you have healed the broken-hearted and restored peace to families throughout history. Today, we trust in your power to heal the divisions in our lives. Help us to forgive, to love, and to seek the restoration of the relationships that matter most. With your help, the impossible becomes possible, and broken hearts are mended. Reflect on the relationships in your life that need healing and offer them up to Saint Anthony. Believe that through his powerful intercession, peace and reconciliation are on the way. No matter how deep the pain, no matter how long the separation, Saint Anthony is here to guide you toward healing. This mystery is a reminder that Saint Anthony is not only the saint who helps us find lost things, but also the saint who helps us heal the brokenness in our hearts. Through his intercession, relationships that seem beyond repair can be restored, and the peace of God can reign where there was once conflict. The power of faith in the impossible. There are moments in life when we face situations that feel completely impossible. Whether it's dealing with a serious illness, financial hardship, or the weight of a seemingly insurmountable challenge, it's easy to feel like there's no way out. But Saint Anthony, through his powerful intercession, reminds us that with faith, even the most impossible situations can be overcome. This third mystery invites us to reflect on the power of faith and trust in Saint Anthony's intercession to turn the impossible into the possible. Think about a situation in your life where you felt like there was no hope. Perhaps it was a time when everything seemed to be falling apart, and no matter how hard you tried, the problem didn't seem to budge. It's in those moments of desperation that Saint Anthony's intercession shines the brightest. Known for helping with the most desperate of situations, he reminds us that nothing is beyond the reach of God's grace. Saint Anthony, today we come to you with faith in our hearts and trust in your power to help us in our most desperate moments. We know that you have interceded for countless souls in times of crisis, bringing about miracles that defy explanation. We ask you to help us with the impossible situations in our lives, whether it's healing from illness, overcoming financial struggles, or finding a way when there seems to be no way. We trust that with your help, what seems impossible can be made possible. As you reflect on this mystery, think about the areas in your life where you've said, "This is too much for me to handle." Saint Anthony reminds us that no challenge is too great to be overcome. With faith, we can see beyond the present difficulties and trust that God's power will bring us through. His intercession opens the door to miracles, showing us that with God, all things are possible. Saint Anthony, we place our most impossible situations in your hands. We know that in moments of weakness, you are there to strengthen us. We trust in your ability to intervene in our lives, just as you have done for so many others. Help us to hold on to our faith, even when everything around us seems to be falling apart. With your intercession, we believe that what seems impossible can and will be resolved. Reflect on the difficulties you are facing today. Maybe it's a financial need, a health crisis, or a relationship that seems beyond repair. Offer these struggles to Saint Anthony, trusting that his intercession will bring you the help you need. With faith, we are reminded that miracles happen, and through Saint Anthony, the impossible becomes possible. Saint Anthony has a unique ability to bring hope to the hopeless. He is known for intervening in situations where it seems there is no solution, providing answers when we've run out of options. By praying to him, we open ourselves to divine intervention and trust that what we thought was impossible can be made possible. Saint Anthony, we trust in your ability to help us overcome the impossible. You have worked countless miracles for those who called upon you with faith, and today we place our trust in you. Whether it's healing, financial help, or peace in troubled times, we believe that you can bring the impossible to fruition. Through your intercession, we know that God's grace will guide us through even the most difficult challenges. As you reflect on this mystery, remember that no situation is too big for Saint Anthony's intercession. His powerful prayers can bring about the miracles we need, even when everything seems lost. Take a moment to think about the challenges you face and ask for Saint Anthony's help. Trust that with his intercession, the impossible can become possible. Saint Anthony, you have shown time and again that no situation is beyond God's reach. We ask you to help us in our impossible circumstances, trusting that you will bring about a miracle. Through your intercession, we believe that God's power will work in our lives, turning the impossible into the possible. This mystery is a reminder that, with faith and trust in Saint Anthony, no problem is too great. What seems impossible in our eyes is only an opportunity for God to work his miracles. Through Saint Anthony's intercession, we know that divine help is always within reach. Deepening spiritual surrender. As we continue on our journey through life, there are moments when we reach a point of spiritual exhaustion. We feel as though we've done everything we can, and yet the challenges persist. It is in these moments of surrender, when we let go of our own understanding and trust in God, that we begin to experience his divine power more fully. This fourth mystery calls us to deepen our spiritual surrender, trusting that St. Anthony's intercession will guide us through the process of releasing control and allowing God to take the lead. Think about the areas of your life where you are holding on tightly, perhaps out of fear or uncertainty. It's natural to want to control the outcome, but sometimes the greatest miracle happens when we surrender our will to God's plan. Saint Anthony, through his humility and devotion, teaches us that true peace comes when we let go and trust that God's will is the best path for us. Saint Anthony, we ask for your guidance as we deepen our surrender to God's will. We know that we cannot control everything, and we acknowledge the areas where we need to let go and trust more fully in God's plan for us. Help us to surrender our fears, doubts, and desires, and to trust that through your intercession, God's grace will lead us to where we need to be. We place our lives in your hands, knowing that through your intercession, God will work wonders in our hearts. Reflect on what you're holding on to tightly, perhaps a relationship, a career, or an outcome that you desperately desire. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to surrender that to God? Saint Anthony's intercession teaches us that when we release our grip on the things we cannot control, we open ourselves up to receiving God's plan for our lives. Saint Anthony, you are the example of surrender. Having devoted your life entirely to God's will, Help us to follow your example and trust in God's divine plan. Teach us to let go of our fears and to place our lives in His hands, knowing that He will lead us to exactly where we need to be. Through your intercession, may we grow in trust and faith. This mystery invites us to reflect on the things in our lives that we've tried to control, often out of fear of the unknown. Surrendering these things to God doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it means allowing God to work through us. St. Anthony shows us that when we trust in God's plan, we experience peace and miracles beyond our understanding. As you reflect on this mystery, think about what you can surrender to God today. It could be a worry that keeps you up at night, or a decision you've been trying to make on your own. St. Anthony's intercession will guide you in this process, helping you to release control and trust in the divine plan that God has for your life. St. Anthony, we ask for your intercession in deepening our spiritual surrender. Help us to let go of the need for control and to trust that God's plan for us is perfect. Teach us to follow His lead, just as you followed His will so faithfully. Through your prayers, may we find the strength to release our fears and place our trust fully in God. Reflect on the areas of your life where you've been holding on too tightly. What would it look like to surrender them to God today? Ask St. Anthony for the courage to release your control and trust in God's plan. With his intercession, you will find peace in surrender, and God's grace will flow into every area of your life. St. Anthony, we surrender our lives into your hands, knowing that through your intercession, we will grow closer to God's will. We trust that by releasing control, we open ourselves to the miracles that God has in store for us. Help us to walk in faith, trusting that God's plan is always the best path forward. In this mystery, we are reminded that surrender is not about weakness, but about strength in trusting God's plan. Just as St. Anthony trusted God's guidance and allowed his will to work through him, we too can surrender our lives to his will and experience the divine power of his miracles. Trusting fully in the miracle. There are moments in life when we feel like we are on the edge, when the weight of our problems feels unbearable and the hope for a solution seems distant. It is in these moments that trusting fully in God's ability to perform miracles becomes our greatest source of strength. The fifth and final mystery invites us to trust completely in the miracles that St. Anthony, through his intercession, brings into our lives. It calls us to embrace the power of faith and trust in the impossible becoming possible. Think for a moment about the areas of your life where you've been holding back, where doubt or fear has made you question whether a miracle could truly happen. Perhaps it's a financial crisis, a broken relationship, or a health issue that seems insurmountable. This mystery encourages us to trust fully that God can perform a miracle in these very situations, and that St. Anthony's powerful intercession will guide us through. St. Anthony, we come before you today with hearts full of faith and trust. We ask that you intercede for us and help us trust fully in the miracles that God is ready to perform in our lives. We know that nothing is beyond his power, and we trust that through your prayers, the miracles we need will come to fruition. Help us to overcome our doubts and embrace the possibility of miraculous change. As you reflect on this mystery, think about the areas in your life where you've hesitated to fully trust. Maybe it's a decision you've been putting off, or a situation that feels like it's beyond repair. Saint Anthony is here to remind us that God's power is limitless, and that when we trust fully in his plan, miracles unfold before our eyes. Saint Anthony, we place our most impossible situations in your hands, trusting that God's miracles are already in motion. We ask you to intercede for us and guide us through the process of trusting fully in God's ability to perform miracles. Help us to open our hearts completely, letting go of any doubts and embracing the possibility of the miraculous. This mystery calls us to take a leap of faith, to believe that God's miracles are not only real, but are within our reach. When we fully trust in the power of God, through the intercession of Saint Anthony, we open ourselves to receiving the miracles we so desperately need. The impossible becomes possible, and with faith, we can experience transformation in every area of our lives. As you meditate on this mystery, ask yourself, what am I holding back from God? What area of my life am I still doubting his ability to intervene? Offer these doubts to Saint Anthony and trust that through his intercession, you will find the courage to let go and fully embrace the miracles that await you. Saint Anthony, help us to fully surrender to God's will and trust that he is working miracles in our lives right now. You have interceded for countless souls and brought about miracles that were once thought impossible. Today, we trust that through your prayers, God will perform a miracle in our lives, just as he has done for so many before us. Reflect on the miracle you need in your life and offer it up to God today. Trust that Saint Anthony, through his powerful intercession, will bring you the help you need. Miracles are real, and they happen when we trust fully in God's ability to work in our lives. Let go of your doubts and trust that the impossible is within your reach. Saint Anthony, we ask for your intercession today, trusting fully in the miracles that God is ready to perform. We believe that through your prayers, God's power will move in our lives and the impossible will become possible. Help us to trust in the miraculous, knowing that with faith, all things are possible. In this final mystery, we're reminded that trusting in God's miracles is not just about believing in them, it's about embracing them fully. Through Saint Anthony's intercession, we can experience the divine miracles we need in our lives. Let this mystery be a reminder that nothing is impossible for God, and that with faith, the miraculous can happen. Embracing divine grace. As we come to the end of this powerful prayer, we feel the weight of our burdens lifting. We know that through Saint Anthony's intercession, we have placed our faith in God's divine grace and that his miracles are already at work in our lives. Now we ask for his continued blessing and guidance, trusting that the peace and restoration we have prayed for will come in his perfect timing. Saint Anthony, as we close this prayer, we ask for your continued intercession. We thank you for the miracles you have already begun in our lives and for the ones yet to come. May we always trust in God's timing and never lose faith, knowing that through your prayers, nothing is impossible. Help us to embrace the miracles that await us and to walk forward with the peace that comes from knowing God is in control. We ask for God's blessing on every area of our lives. For those who are struggling, may they find peace and healing. For those seeking financial breakthroughs, may they experience divine provision. For those in broken relationships, may healing and reconciliation come. We trust in God's power to bring about the miracles we need, and we ask that His grace overflow in our lives. May the power of Saint Anthony's intercession continue to guide us. We ask for peace in our hearts, for healing in our bodies, and for restoration in our families. May we walk in faith and confidence, knowing that with God all things are possible. Let His grace flow freely, and may His miracles be made manifest in our lives today and always. Saint Anthony, you have shown us the power of faith and trust in God. We ask for your continued intercession, that we may always walk in His grace and experience the miracles He has in store for us. May God's peace fill our hearts and His blessings overflow in our lives. We trust in His divine plan, and we thank Him for the miracles He is bringing into our lives. As we close this prayer, let us remember that God's love and miracles are always with us. We may not always see them immediately, but we trust that His plan is unfolding in our lives. Through the intercession of Saint Anthony, we know that what was once impossible is now possible. We walk forward with faith, peace, and gratitude, knowing that God's miracles are real and He is always by our side. If you've been touched by this prayer and believe in the power of Saint Anthony's intercession, we invite you to take a step of faith today. Like this video and let others know that Saint Anthony's miracles are real and available to all. Share this prayer with your friends and family, and together let's spread the message of faith, hope, and miracles. Don't forget to comment Amen below as a sign of your belief and trust in God's miracles. Your Amen is a powerful declaration of faith, and together we are lifting our prayers up to God, trusting that He will answer us in His perfect timing. If you're ready to see miracles in your life, subscribe to this channel and join us in praying for healing, restoration, and breakthroughs. With Saint Anthony's intercession, we are walking in faith, and we know that God is working in our lives. Share this prayer with someone who needs to hear it. Whether it's a family member, a friend, or someone in need of a miracle, by sharing this prayer, you are spreading the hope and faith that Saint Anthony's intercession brings. As you continue on your journey, remember, through the power of prayer and the intercession of Saint Anthony, all things are possible. Subscribe, share, and comment Amen today, and let's continue to walk in faith and witness the miracles of God together.